Okay, the question says this is a ratio, okay, or and fraction, ratio and fractions. Now, question says, Fawn got her results back. Her first test was out of what?
50.
So test 1 out of 50. What's test 2 out of?
80.
80. Test 3.
20.
And what percent did she get on all of them?
80.
She got 80% on all of them, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're looking for what she got on each test.
Okay.
Now, let's use this as a ratio. What ratio do you know? Can you give me a ratio where you know that ratio is equal to 80%? Or what fraction would be 80%? Is another way of putting it. Let's go into percents into fractions. So, here's our example on the side. Example 1. I have 56% on a test.
Okay.
I need to know what that is as a fraction. Well, to turn a percent
Hey, this is what I got wrong on my test.
into a fraction, I take the percent. What number do I have?
56.
I put 56 and I divide it by 100.
Oh,
And I now have a fraction.
that.
And then, how do I turn it into a percentage? Into a decimal. If I had to turn that into a decimal,
56 divided by 100.
which gives us,
0.56.
There we go.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I got right.
so we have all that. Now, this is what we're trying to do. We have
Okay.
this information. How can I turn this into an equivalent fraction? We're going to work with equivalent ratios. I need to turn 80% into an equivalent fraction. How do I turn 80% into a fraction? What do I do?
Okay, 80%.
So we have,
80% divided by 100.
hey, okay. So I can change that into 80 over
Yay.
100.
Okay.
So I can get rid of that percent. And look, now I have an equivalent ratio. So now let's use equivalent ratios to solve for all of these.
Okay.
Do you know how to do that? All right, so let's talk about equivalent ratios. Let's talk about the first one. Let's start out with test 1. So we have 80 over 100, we know is going to be equal to something over 50. How do I change 100 into 50? What would I do?
Oh, divide by 25. No, 50. No, wait.
Let's try. If I divide 100 divided by 50, what do I get?
2. Oh, wait, no.
100 divided by 25. 100 divided 10 is 10.
5.
How much of 50 is 100?
Half.
Half. What number do we usually use for half? You know? What fraction? 1 over.
2.
That means 1 divided by.
2.
What do we divide by? 100 divided by
2.
equals
Oh.
50. Okay. So,
Or I could have just divided 100 divided by 50.
and then yeah, you could have done that, which we found out earlier. So we do 100 divided by 2 equals 50. So what would I do at the top?
Oh.
80.
Divided by 2.
What's that going to give us? What's half of 80?
40.
Yeah. We get 40.
Yay!
So there's our first test. Let's use the same idea. That was test 1. Let's go to test 3 next, okay? 80 over 100 is equal to something over 20. How do I go from 100 to 20?
Right on the third test.
Because the middle one's going to be the harder one.
Aw.
How do I go from 100 to 20?
100 to 20. 20 divided by 100 divided by 20.
Okay,
100 divided by 100.
100 divided by 20 gives us.
5.
So what do I have to do to 100 to get to 20?
Divide by 5.
Yes, very good. So I take this number, I divide by 5. So I take this number, and what do I do?
Divide by 5.
So 80 divided by 5.
20. Dang! 16.
That's okay, that's good. 16. So we know our answer is 16. Okay. And the last one, test 2. Now this is a little harder. We know we have 80 over 100. And it's going to be equal to something over 80. Here's our tough one. I got to figure out what to divide by. So what do I do?
Subtractions. I mean, no wait, divide those.
100 divided by what number?
Divided by 80.
Okay, that gives us 1.25. Okay, that's okay. We have a calculator. 1.25. So what do I have to divide 80 by?
1.25.
Divide by 1.25. So, oopsie. 80 divided by 1.25 equals. What number was that? You can see? Sorry.
No, I was writing
There it is.
down. 64.
64. So those are the marks she got on each test.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, so we have our question.
And Christine won't let her show it in her room, so she'll take it away.
Number 7. So we know 1,300 people or 1,300 people live in Sunnydale.
Okay.
And 45% of them eat baker's bread.
Okay.
What do I have to do to figure this out? I take my. Tell me what I do.
1,300.
Okay, so let's keep going here. So you had 1,300,
Yeah.
and you knew it was 100% of the people in town.
Mm-hmm.
What are we trying to find?
45%. No, yeah.
So where do I put that? Do I put that here or here? Our ratio is 45% of 100, right?
Yeah.
45% of 100 people eat baker's bread. So we're trying to find this number here, right? So let's do it the same way we did the other one.
Can you
Cross multiply?
She showed us that.
Okay. How can you cross multiply?
1,300 times 45.
Okay.
I'm kind of bad at cross multiplying though.
So you get 1,300 times
45. I guess the other way would be faster.
It's okay. It's so fine. This works too. What do I do with the 100?
You have to divide it by your answer.
Yeah, so we know we got to do that first, right? And then we got to divide it by 100. Okay, so let's do that. Talk it to me.
1,300 times 45. Oh, jeez.
Remember that? Tell me it.
Oh, I didn't remember the number. 5,8,500. 5,8,500.
Anything else?
Divided by 100. Oh, no. Yeah. Divided by 100.
What's it going to be?
585. 585 people.
There you go. 500. So therefore, bakers.
Well, actually, I wish I did.
So it says Miguel, he bought a bike. He had a 30% discount, so we subtracted 30%, and he paid $122.50. We don't know what the original price is, but they do want to know. They want to know what percentage he paid. So how would we find the percentage?
70%?
Yeah, what did you do?
I subtracted the
Yeah, so he paid 70% of the original price, right?
Yeah.
Of the original price. So that's the first part. Okay, so you set this up already. You knew that we needed to set up 70 over 100 as our ratio, and this ratio or fraction is going to be equal to what?
Something over. No, wait, 122.
Oh, very good.
50.
Over
Something.
over something. Okay? I'm going to show you a trick. Now, something's on the bottom. We're not used to solving what's on the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. You can flip these. Let's say 100 over 70 is equal to something.
Won't that change your answer though?
No, you still get the same answer. That's a trick in math. You can, as long as you flip both fractions. Okay?
I could
No
just
difference. So
multiply
you can-
both ways.
you can cross multiply both ways. That's right.
I don't like cross multiplying though.
Okay. Or what's the other way we could do it?
So, divide something.
Now, will we be dividing if I go from 70 to 122?
No.
What are we doing?
Multiply.
Yeah, because we're getting bigger, so we're going to be multiplying by some number.
Once you divide it though, and to get to that, like once you divide 70 by 1, blah blah blah, and then
To figure out what you multiply by, yeah. Talk about that. So to figure out what to multiply by, you were smart. You did 122.50 divided by 70, and what number did you get?
1.75.
Oops, 1.75.
75.
So you know now, you need to multiply by 1 point. Oh my gosh, I keep doing it. 1.75. So on the bottom, what will I have to do? Multiply by
1.75.
All right, let's do it. I think you get too many numbers. Try again.
100 times 1.75.
So the original price
Oh, how much money did Miguel save?
How much did he save?
I just have to subtract that.
Good. We take the old price
Oh, I take
and we
it.
subtract our new price.